you want to hear some music? You'd like that, wouldn't you? Well, today you're going to get all the music you want.
The request lines are now open. KGFJ Soul Radio.
Do it now, man. Do it now.
Request lines are up.
It's open, man.
Got any Blue Oyster Cult?
No, I don't have any Blue Oyster Cult. I ate 34 pairs last time around. Where were you? I was that close to working at 7-Eleven, you know.
Pass the word along. Tell the men it's time to shoot the moon.
Shoot the moon!
Not out there on the microphone. On the microphone.
Shoot the moon. Shoot the moon.
The attitude dictates that you don't care whether she comes, stays, lays, or prays. I mean, whatever happens, your toes are still tapping.
Hey, Strawberry! Oh, Strawberry. Hey, what's happening, man? How you doing? This is my friend.
Hey, how you doing, man?
What you looking at, man?
Oh, nothing. I wasn't looking. I wasn't looking at his neck, man.
Can you honestly tell me that you forgot the magnetism of Robin Zander or the charisma of Rick Nielsen?
That's kid stuff.
Kid stuff. Well, how about the tunes? I want you to want me. The Dream Police. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Build your muscles picking strawberries. You know, Band and Scoop. Maybe I could get you a job with United Fruit. I got a buddy with United Fruit. Start with strawberries, you might work your way up to these goddamn bananas. When, boy, are you gonna get your act together?
We're creating a society of cell phone crazed, marijuana smoking zombies.
Coming to you not quite live from Lukewarm Tallboy Studios deep in the land of Gar, this is Bend and Scoop, the podcast featuring music, mirth, and minutia, focused on exposing artists you probably haven't heard, but should. I'm Bob, and I'll be your tour guide on this amazingly asymmetric auditory adventure as we journey to the center of your cochlea. Welcome to episode 13. Glad to have you with us for another jam session. Joining us at the end of the show for our Groovin' After Party is our very special guest Frozen Lazarus from the Putting on the Wrist podcast, who will be sharing his own personal musical journey with us while playing a round of Is That Your Vinyl Answer? Yes, we really do spread the gospel of vinyl here at Bend and Scoop, so be sure to tell us all about your favorite record store by posting to @BendScoop on Twitter or Instagram using the hashtag SpinMomAndPop. Our record store of the week is ZT Records in Frisco, Texas. You can follow them on Twitter @ZTRecords2020, on Instagram and Facebook @ZTRecords, and be sure to check out their website at ZTRecords.com. You know, the best thing about records is that they have songs on them, so let's play one right now. From his 2012 album Go Fly a Kite, here's Ben Queller with Mean to Me on Bend and Scoop.
Gotta scream at the top of your lungs just to get out what you want them to hear. Don't you know where I'm coming from? Black cat living across the way, got more in him than we could ever say. Don't you know where I'm coming from? You don't know what you mean. You don't know what you mean. You don't know what you mean to me. Don't regret being the ragged kid. Don't regret anything I ever did, 'cause I always knew where I was coming from. My deepest cut came from out in LA. Tried to take all my friends away. Don't you know where I'm coming from? You don't know what you mean. You don't know what you mean. You don't know what you mean to me. You don't know what you mean. You don't know what you mean. You don't know what you mean to me. don't know what you mean. You don't know what you mean to me. You don't know what you mean. You don't know what you mean. You don't know what you mean to me. You don't know what you mean. You don't know what you mean. You don't know what you mean to me. You don't know what you mean. You don't know what you mean. You don't know what you mean to me. WNBY 1230 Country.
Writing my confession while driving my car. Tried to get away, but I didn't get far. Just around the corner from my in-laws, I'll make a pretty crummy outlaw. I thought I was funny, living life like a lush, laughing outside while I wanted to crush everything on the inside. You got to keep it on the inside. Confessional boxing, I'm a professional. Confessional boxing, I'm a professional. Money in the hand starts buzzing in the brain. Having her ears like getting hit by a train. I had a 4-leaf clover, but those days are over. Belinda says heaven is a place on earth, so is hell, you got to go there first. They handed out new orders, shut down the borders. Confessional boxing, I'm a professional. 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 Driving underwater in the dead of the night, digging in the console looking for a light. Cigarettes will be the death of me now.
Hot off the presses from Dallas's old 97s, that's Confessional Boxing, off their brand new album 12th, which features a spectacular cover image of the great Roger Staubach in action during his Cowboys glory days. Having opened with a double shot from Texas, let's stick with the geographically based theme with a couple of tunes from Scandinavia, starting with Norway's own Kato Salsa Experience and a track from 2002's A Good Tip for a Good Time. Here's the very political convention season appropriate So the Circus is Back in Town on Bend and Scoop.
children are going to the most glamorous of all summer camps, Camp Mohawk. There's a 2-year waiting list, and every child has to be voted in. On top of all that, it costs $1,000 a week to go to Camp Mohawk. The question is it worth $1,000 a week?
It sure is. It's the best darn camp there is.
Well, are you connected with Camp Mohawk?
Well, I think so. I'm the program director, Jerry Aldini.
Well, how do you justify $1,000 a week?
Well, we have some special programs. We're doing Shakespeare in the Round again this year, of course. Our political roundtable, Henry Kissinger will appear. Yasser Arafat is going to come out, spend a weekend with the kids, just rap with them.
That's amazing.
And the kids wanted animals, so this year each camper will stalk and kill his own bear in our private wildlife preserve.
Are you sure the children can hack that?
We'll see. But the real excitement, of course, is going to come at the end of the summer, during Sexual Awareness Week. We import 200 hookers from around the world, and each camper, armed with only a thermos of coffee and $2,000 cash, tries to visit as many countries as he can. And the winner, of course, is named King of Sexual Awareness Week and is allowed to rape and pillage the neighboring towns until camp ends.
That's incredible.
What do you expect for $1,000 a week? Hey, you have a good summer, too, huh?
Of habit and habit.
That's Sweden's The International Noise Conspiracy with A Small Demand from their 2005 album Armed Love. One of our guests in a future episode, several weeks from now, David Mowry from the Now More Than Ever podcast, is the brother of their tour manager. Yep, we've got connections here at Bend and Scoop. Listen, if you like what you hear on Bend and Scoop, please do us a favor and subscribe, rate, and review us at Apple Podcast or anywhere else you get your audio fix. We really do genuinely value your feedback. Up next is a hot jam from the latest album by Seattle's Naked Giants, The Shadow. This is Goddamn What I Am on Bend and Scoop.
Hi, this is Johnny Williams. Join me on Boss Radio from 9 a.m. to noon.
Johnny Williams, 93 KHJ.
Will you rip my gold stars off the wall? If I didn't flinch, would you love me more? I love you with my words, but they fall out of my head. I'm on fire, but you just sit.
man, I love that one. Gold Stars by LA's Girl Friday, off their debut album Androgynous Mary, which may be how I hear Jethro Tull's Cross-Eyed Mary from now on. You can hear that one and every song we've played on all our episodes by going to Spotify and pulling up the Bend and Scoop playlist. We update it every week. Although I should mention, every now and then there's a song or two that either isn't on Spotify or used to be and got pulled. So there may now be a handful of songs that aren't on there that you heard here, but most of them are. And now, let's spin a smooth groove from the hot band around Valley Ranch right now, Dallas's Bastards of Soul, featuring Dingu and the Boys. This is Spinning Out of Control on Bend and Scoop.
That's the way it should be. I got the feeling you want to go with me, yeah, to taking all we can see. Can you feel the world is turning now? Oh, turning earth right up under your feet. I work too hard and come too far now, babe, to turn my back on myself. Now won't you tell me just what you take me for? Think real hard, I suggest. I can hear your wheels, they're turning now. Oh, they're spinning right out of control. Can you feel the world is turning now, baby? Lord, it's spinning right out of control. I got no time to live in the past now, babe. The future's all I can see. Now don't you know we just got to keep on keeping on to realize our dreams. Keep your eyes pointed to the sky now, babe. We can go as high as our eyes can see. Now can you feel the world is turning now, baby? Lord, it's spinning right out of control. You can't tell me nothing now, baby, yeah, about that's the way it should be. I got the feeling you want to go with me, yeah, taking all we can see. I can hear your wheels, they're turning now. We can go as far as our eyes can see. Can you feel the world is turning now, baby? Lord, it's spinning right out of control. Now can you feel it? Now can you feel it now? Now can you feel it spinning out of control now? Now can you feel it? Now can you feel it now? Now can you feel it spinning out of control now, baby? Now can you feel it? Come on, you got to feel it, baby. Come on and feel it spinning out of control now. You got to feel it. You got to feel it, baby. You got to feel it spinning out of control now, baby. Now can you feel it? You got to feel it, baby. You got to feel it spinning out of control now. Got to feel it, come on. You got to feel it, baby. You got to feel it spinning out of control now, baby. You got to feel it, come on. You got to feel it, baby. You got to, yeah.
Well, it's 7:05 in the AM, and
It's wow, 43 degrees on the old Camp North Star weather dial, and that is kind of nippy for a June 25, isn't it? Whew. I'm Trooper Harrison. I'm your head counselor, and this is my wake-up show. I'll be coming at you every morning about this time, hoping to make your summer camp experience the best available in this price range. Of course, across the lake, over at Camp Mohawk, they won't be getting up for another hour or so. And when they do, they'll be awakened by servants bearing croissants and cafe au lait. Oops, hope I didn't hit anybody. But over here at Camp North Star this morning, we're going to be having a delicious gruel breakfast. And don't forget to ask for seconds, because it's all the gruel you can eat.
Last night, my how indiscreet. Baby, my. Your self-destruction is so complete. Baby, my. Oh yeah, I know. Yes, I know. Yeah, I know. Yes, I really know. Life is going down slow. It was this morning that you found. You sound strung out, baby, but so hot down. So hot down, baby, when you found. Get home and you're going down slow. And she's going down slow. Yeah. Altitude hand over fist. As he's going down.
From 2001's The Swimming Hour, that's Andrew Bird's Bowl of Fire with How Indiscreet. Don't forget to stick around for the end of the show when our special guest, Frozen Lazarus from the Putting on the Wrist podcast, will join us for our Groovin' After Party. Okay, this is one of my favorite songs. It's by the great San Francisco band Beulah, who sadly ended their run way back in 2003. Here's Gene Autry on Bend and Scoop.
Ladies and gentlemen, KHJ proudly presents in concert Saturday night, April 2nd at the Hollywood Bowl, Sonny and Cher. In appreciation from KHJ, you'll see for 93 cents. Sonny and Cher with Donovan, Jan and Dean, the Knickerbockers, Bob Lind, the Mamas and Papas, the MFQ, Otis Redding and his band, and the Turtles.
He's the universal soldier, and he really
93 cents. 93 cents. All seats are 93 cents with a limited number of VIP seats at $5. Tickets are available by mail only. Use the coupon coming in Wednesday's LA Times. Remember, you'll see it all for 93 cents. Limit 4 tickets per family, so watch for the KHJ coupon in Wednesday's Times.
All proceeds from the KHJ Sonny and Cher Appreciation Concert will be presented to the Braille Institute of America.
There's another band that shut things down back in the mid-aughts, the American Analog Set, with First of Four from their final album, 2005's Set Free. The next song on that album was the very last track in their discography, the fittingly titled Fuck This, I'm Leaving, which is a pretty spot-on way for a band to end their run, isn't it? All this podcasting has left me with quite an appetite. I'm feeling hungry for a massive sub loaded down with a pile of giant meatballs.
I'm your head counselor, hoping to make your summer camp experience the best available in this price range.
For one summer, the parents of 300 children...
You must be the short depressed kid that we ordered. Come on inside, Frankenstein. I'll buy you a cocktail.
...are putting their faith...
These are the camp rules. Be in here if you want to check these out a little bit later.
...in one man.
Let the game begin!
There's no way we're going to beat this team.
What are we going to do?
We're going to lose. But we can lose with some self-respect.
It just doesn't matter! It just doesn't matter!
I gotta go!
How's the leg?
Okay.
Yeah, for now. But if you don't win, we cut it off. But the real excitement, of course, is going to come at the end of the summer, during Sexual Awareness Week. We import 200 hookers from around the world, and each camper, armed with only a thermos of coffee and $2,000 cash, tries to visit as many countries as he can.
Oh my God. Take me.
And then the winner, of course, is named King of Sexual Awareness Week.
Bill Murray. Meatballs. Really?
People listen to people. So listen, people.
Welcome to the Groovin' After Party. Come on in and pour yourself a cold one.
Our guest on the Groovin' After Party is none other than the host of the very entertaining and successful Putting on the Wrist podcast. Just hit 20 episodes, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
That's right. That's it. How are you?
Doing great. Doing great. So
Good.
This is Frozen Lazarus, the host, who's with us here. And glad to have you. I have a particular gratitude toward you because when I was first launching the podcast, I had some questions about the hosting, about the service, and some of the other things, and you were very helpful. And I really appreciate you being as friendly and accommodating as you were.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I'm always happy to help. I'm glad my advice worked out.
Definitely so. And want to start off by just, I guess, having you tell our listeners, and I'm being generous when I pluralize that, who...
I'm sorry. My son's... just let him out. He's letting the dog out. Sorry.
No problem. Well, now we have the answer to who let the dogs out. It's your son, as it turns out. So
yeah.
Tell us a little bit about Putting on the Wrist. I admitted to you, and now I'll admit to our listeners, that it took me probably at least a week to get the pun. So I didn't even catch what you were doing there. But tell us about the podcast.
Yeah, so it's a radio show, much like your own. We try to play. There's money in me here. It's just
the royal.
It's just me. It's just me. I try to play stuff that I've been listening to this week, but also I look for stuff that may not have, got lost in the shuffle or just never made it big anywhere. And I try to do like a mix of hip hop, Indian music, African music, indie rock, just whatever's turning me on at the moment.
It's very eclectic, and I've got to admit, every now and then something will really surprise me. Like one of the episodes recently, you played a fairly mainstream hit by the Supremes, and I was like, wow, I wasn't expecting to hear that, and this kind of great. So it's literally like just having someone play you their record collection, just whatever they want to play.
Yeah, sometimes I worry, I think everybody's already heard this, but I think that's just me, assuming that people have heard all this music before. I don't know if you feel that way when you put your set lists together, everybody already knows this song, but no one knows it. It's like...
Well, a lot of it's the feel, and I think that's what I hear when you play your episodes is just kind of what you're in the mood for hearing, what seems like it pairs well with what else you're listening to at the time. So it's kind of the same thing with me.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now, what do you have a regular release date, or is it just kind of maybe somewhat weekly? What's your schedule?
I try to do it weekly. I try to do either Wednesday or Thursday, only because it's when I get the episodes finished. It's usually like on a Tuesday, and I think, I should wait till Friday, but I just can't wait to put it out in the wild. So it's like Tuesdays or Wednesdays or Thursdays usually.
That's one of the things that I've kind of started to find as I've gone through. But now I think on episode 12 next week, we're about 12 weeks in. The routine is starting to establish itself in terms of the recording and the preparation of the episode. It's like certain nights of the week, certain days are when things tend to happen.
Yeah. When I first started, I was very self-conscious. Like, I'd be up in the room, and if I heard my wife come upstairs, I've got to turn it off. I don't want her to hear me.
No, my wife just ignores me
pretending
altogether.
Up here that I'm a DJ. But it's gotten easier. When I first started, I don't know about when you do it. You have a very good speaking voice. When you do it, it sounds very natural. When I started, it took me forever just even to get the first line. So I would type up my scripts, but I like the fourth or fifth episode, I was able to get off that. But I don't know how you do that.
See, I kind of went in the opposite direction. I was winging it at first and this is terrible. I've got to type up a script. So I've been pretty much scripted ever since. But I mean, a lot of it's just because I would have a comment or something that I'd want to make relative to a song or an artist. And if I didn't have it kind of committed to some sort of a script ahead of time, I maybe would forget it, and then it's already in the can, and I'm like, I really wish I would have mentioned this. And
Oh, I do that too. I should have mentioned it, and it's just so much of a pain to go back and record the voice.
Oh yeah,
So
once it's
just let it
done,
go.
it's done. Yeah, exactly. So what I wanted to see if you would be up for game four is kind of a little James Lipton-y survey here we've got at the end of the session, and I'm gonna call this "Is that your vinyl answer?" Okay, and kind of loving tribute to the late great Regis himself, who left this mortal coil fairly recently. So we'll start off, and most of these or all of these are going to be related to records, and I'm sure you and I both, I guess we're roughly similar ages. It seems we're from the same generation, so we probably grew up on vinyl, and we're very fond of the records we listened to both in our youth and still to this day. Starting off, what was the first record you ever bought?
The first record with my money or with just the money?
I guess with your money, yeah.
Oh, okay. I guess okay. So it wasn't a record, but it was album. It was with my money that I didn't earn. Someone gave me the money, but Van Halen, 1984.
Okay.
I bought it on cassette because I liked the cover. I was probably in the 4th grade when that came out.
Okay, so I am significantly older than 1984 is actually the year I graduated high school. So I remember.
Oh yeah, so you got you're about you're about 10 years ahead of me. Then. Yeah. Okay.
But
so you were already listening to Van Halen. I was just a kid discovering them at that time. And I bought it because I liked the baby smoking Marlboros. I thought that looked cool.
It is a great album cover, and I actually just within the last week or two had this discussion with a friend of mine who's probably 6 to 8 years younger than me. I think he was born in 72, 73. And he was talking about, his entry point into Van Halen was 1984. And I was explaining to him, well, for most people who had been listening to him from the beginning, 1984 was quite jarring, especially Jump, because it's all of a sudden guitar god Eddie Van Halen's on a synthesizer. What in the hell's going on? It was very, it was very shocking. But as I told him,
that's all I knew at the time.
Yeah. And as I told him, it's a great song. It's just at the time, the, quote unquote purists were up in arms. It was almost like Bob Dylan going electric. Eddie Van Halen on the synthesizer. What's happening here? But very good, very good. I was trying to think of my answer to this question, and it would either be the first one I ever bought at all was they used to have at the record store my dad went to a used 25-cent album bin, and I got a Grand Funk album out of that bin. So that was
nice.
That was the first one. I think it was the one that was self-titled. It was like the orange kind of cover with them. It just was titled Grand Funk, the one that had Mr. Limousine Driver on it and some of the other. It wasn't one of their bigger hits, but I pretty much got their entire catalog after that because that was amazing to me. But the one that's embarrassing, the first one I bought brand new in shrink wrap with my own money was actually a Captain and Tennille album. But we'll move on. The second question, follow up to the first, where was it that you bought that 1984?
In the mall in New Jersey. And I'm not from New Jersey. My grandmother lived in New Jersey. And we went to her house, and her TV had broken. And she was old. And we're like, oh, no, there's nothing to watch. So my mother gave us money to go to the mall. So that's where it was, some New Jersey mall, probably the Monmouth Mall.
Okay.
I don't know if anyone's familiar with New Jersey. It's near the shore, near Asbury Park. That's where actually she lived. It was the Monmouth Mall. It was huge. I remember being overwhelmed and my 4th grade self thinking, "Oh, this is the future."
Was it like a Sam Goody? Do you remember what chain it was, or?
I don't know. No.
Oh, okay.
Probably something like that though, for sure. Yeah, definitely a chain.
The malls pretty much ran chains for the most
part.
There
were no mom and pop purveyors in the Monmouth Mall.
No. Now
there might be now.
The question I have for you as a follow-up to that is, do you still have 1984, that version of it?
No, I don't. I wish I did.
Cassette?
It was a cassette. Yeah,
okay.
I got rid of all my cassettes through the years, just like moving to different places and shedding them. I wish I had it still.
Do you have any version of it, like a CD or a record or anything? Or
I don't.
No? Okay.
No, I
Kind of
don't. I
outgrew
never.
it a little bit.
Yeah, I think a dude in college made a recorder on a cassette for me back when people actually used to record cassettes for each other.
Oh, yeah.
I think he did, but I don't have an original. No.
Yeah, we definitely predate the mix CD for sure.
Yeah, it was the mix. The mixtape was a pretty big deal
Oh,
to
yeah.
make too.
Oh, it really was. Labor of love. Absolutely. Uh, our fourth question for you: which band or artist's albums do you own the most?
Oh, that's a good question. Let me think. Probably the Rolling Stones.
Oh, very good.
That's because in the 90s, record stores were throwing out their vinyl. Everyone was going to CD. And I was poor, and so I went and bought tons of vinyl at that time. We're talking like $2.99, $3.99 for Beggar's Banquet. Just like in Let It Bleed, all the stuff. It's like perfect condition. The only ones you couldn't find were like Led Zeppelin and Velvet Underground. They weren't throwing those out, but the Stones and the Beatles, it's like a dime a dozen. They were just paying you.
You're a very wise man, because when most people were, including myself, were jettisoning vinyl in favor of CDs, you were investing in clearance vinyl, and now
I was. What an investment!
Yes, that was a
more richer for it.
Wise move. I regret every day having gotten rid of all of the vinyl of my youth, thinking I was streamlining my collection. Bad deal.
It's so expensive now. You go to the stores
God.
and like $50 for a Sergeant Pepper.
It really is.
I have a thing. It still has the $2.99 label on it.
It's insane.
Yeah.
So, of those Rolling Stones albums, which one is your favorite?
Of the ones that I own, probably Let It Bleed. I think that's
excellent. I would say that's their best album, in my opinion. Very good.
And it sounds great on vinyl. It's just
and I love the cover. Even has the cake on the turntable. So,
and on the back it's like all smashed too. It's a beautiful record. Beautiful
really
cover.
Is. Yeah, I love that one. It's awesome. Now, what album, and this could be in any form, record or whatever, have you had to replace the most over the years, either from wearing it out or losing it, giving it away, whatever?
I don't know. I've been pretty good about, you know what, I will say.
Is there one that you have purchased on every medium?
Yes, that's the thing. Because I'm pretty good at taking care of myself. I've only had things like stolen from me, or like I lent someone, they did get it back. But the record that I purchased on multiple mediums, not vinyl, but I bought the streaming rights through Bandcamp or whatever it is. Tape and cassette is Luna, and they're one of my favorite bands. Luna Park, their first record, is I bought it multiple times.
Dean and Britta, nice.
That's right.
Yes,
great.
Yes.
I love them.
Luna is very good, very good. Who has the largest vinyl collection among your friends and family?
Oh, definitely me.
It's you. Okay.
Yeah.
If you had to put a number on it, what would you estimate your number of your vinyl collection is?
Not as much as it should be. I would say probably like around 300. I lost some of it when we moved to this house. I had about 200 in another thing, and the movers, I didn't realize had put it in the garage. I didn't realize that until I was going through stuff and found that I had to get water damage, so I lost a lot of the stuff. But probably about 300.
Okay.
Which probably isn't that much. When I always think, I have so many records, and then I go online, like people are showing their CD vinyl collection. Like, I don't really have much of anything.
Well, that's a lot more than I have. I'm still trying to rebuild from the ashes of my wasted youth, but I'll get
all
there.
that. Yeah, the only stuff that I buy would be used. Like I get the Salvation Army. That's a good place. Like thrift stores are a good place to buy vinyl. I would never buy like the new stuff unless it's like a band that I really love. I just can't afford it.
Yeah. I mean, the cheapest you can see anything new is about $25 or $30. It seems. Anything below 25, it's almost like a steal. There's actually a local. It's a semi-chain, but it's pretty much localized here in Dallas-Fort Worth area called Half Price Books, And once or twice a year, they have this tent clearance where they basically, and I went last year, and all the vinyl they had out there was $1. And it's like, I was just trying to snatch up as much of it as I could. Now, not all of it was in mint or near mint or remotely mint condition, but some of it.
Yeah, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Some of it's just nice to own too. Like when, you can stream anything, but it's really not just like hold something that you love in your hands. Like, oh, this is, like I have a Born to Run. I mean, it's dime a dozen, I'm sure, but it's like so nice to like listen to that while listen to the streaming, just to hold the record. Like it's just a cool thing.
Yeah, especially the ones that have that open up, that have the gatefold
yes.
in the middle. That's the lost art of when you really would have a lot more detail to the album design and the packaging and everything.
That was always a nice. Even when I was younger, buying the cassettes, I always open it with the ones that didn't have anything. And I'm like, oh, what this is a chip. I didn't get any. There's no liner notes. There's nothing. No pictures.
Yeah, because every now and then you'd get one that would unfold like about 3 or 4 different sections out from the cassette. Lyrics in it or something.
Lyrics and the pictures, and sometimes like musings from the band or something. I always like reading the liner notes to see the producers and kind of go back to my collection and see what they also produced. That was the start of the obsession, I guess.
Yep, it's very much similar to me. Okay, so our final question
All right.
What is your favorite record store? It could be currently your favorite record store or the one that you have the most fond memories of growing up.
Yeah, okay. So can I have 2?
Sure, yeah, you bet.
So growing up, there was a store in the mall, and it was actually a good store. Even though I was talking trash about the mall a few minutes ago, there was a store called Music Smith where I grew up, and I don't know who. They must have had someone really loved music who was doing the purchasing, because they had like this whole section of indie kind of hard to find music. I forget what they call it, the imported section, even though they weren't all imports. And that shaped a lot of what I listened to. So I go in there and I just kind of buy things on a whim.
Yeah.
And it actually worked out for a lot of stuff. And they used to have like stickers that said non-returnable import. And I thought that meant it wasn't coming back. So I was like, oh, I've got to buy it. But now I realized years ago, oh, that means I can't return it. I didn't realize, like, once I buy it, I can't take it back.
So you thought there was going to be just one pressing, and then that's it.
It's not coming back. Buy it now, off the shelf. You'll never get it again.
The equivalent of the Disney vault. We're locking it up. It's never coming back.
They knew what they were doing. They knew that there was like 10 obsessive 16-year-olds roaming the malls. Like, I gotta buy this now. I'll never see it again.
I remember
that's how I found the Dead Milkmen and a few others with non-returnable imports. So
I remember the non-returnable imports. I remember the ones that were stamped for promotional use only. So typically those are the ones like the radio stations would get or whatever.
Yeah.
And then there also were the cutouts, the ones that had like the corner of the outside the album sleeve cut at an angle, like almost like a dog ear kind of, and you would buy it as is. I mean, it wouldn't damage the record because it was just a small piece, but
so why would they cut that? What was the reason for cutting that out?
I don't know. I'm not really sure why that was the case, but I remember seeing those. Sometimes they would cut the corner off. Sometimes they would just cut a notch into like the upper part of the sleeve. I'm not really sure what the rationale behind that was, but
because I know when bookstores, I used to work at a bookstore, we used to have paperbacks. They would literally rip the covers off the paperbacks, send those back, and then what a waste. They would throw the book into the dumpster. I don't know if maybe it was something related to that or something. I don't know.
Could be. You never know. And what was the other record store you were going to mention?
So the other record store is current. It's Newberry Comics.
I know them.
Yeah, they're good. I think they're like in the I don't know if are they in your area in Texas?
No. The reason I know him is I had a buddy that he lives in Portland now, but he used to be a mailman up there, and that was his stomping grounds and his favorite haunt was that location. So I've heard a lot of good things about it.
Yeah, they're really good. It's I think it's like a regional chain now, but they started out in Boston literally selling comics on Newbury Street. But that's where I used to go. They had a store in Cambridge in Harvard Square. I used to go with a few friends of mine when we were like 14. And that would just be wild. Just all the music that you get there, just like stuff. There's one song they played there when I went there when I was 14. I've had it stuck in my head. 14? So almost. I can't do the math in my head. I'm 46 now, so do the math. It says 14. I've had one song stuck in my head that I can't. I don't know what it is. Thanks to Newbury Comics, but it's still around. And they kind of branched out. They do a lot of vinyl now, and I was actually there yesterday with my daughter. They do a lot of novelty stuff and whatever's pop culture stuff. But I spent so much time there when I was younger. In college. I would always treat myself. Every couple of days, I'd say, "Oh, it's time to treat myself to another CD." Off to Newbury Comics I would go.
Awesome. So before we wrap up, one more time, let's see if we can let everybody know how they can find Putting on the Wrist.
So you can find it primarily on iTunes. I know that we're on the few other places like Google and I think Podomatic, I think it's called. I'm not sure, but iTunes is the best place to find me.
Okay.
Go
and
to
if
the
they
iTunes.
want to follow you on Twitter, can they?
They can find me on Frozen Lazarus. That's the handle that I go by. I set up a Twitter page for Putting on the Wrist, but I never go on it. Frozen Lazarus is where you can find me.
All right.
Always willing to talk about music.
Awesome. Listen, thanks so much for your time. I really appreciate you joining us for this.
Yeah, thank you. I've been really digging the Bend and Scoop podcast. It's great.
Thanks. I'm relieved that there are multiple of us exposing ourselves to copyright infringement out here. Because as soon as I got booted from, as soon as I got booted from Spotify, I'm like, oh, are you kidding me? But it's like I was telling a friend. I mean, as long as there's not monetization involved, it should be a fair use thing, really. And I mean, that's basically the way YouTube discusses it. They've got it on there where they say, can't monetize, but other than that, knock yourself out. So,
and a lot of these bands that I know that I play on, I think that you play too. No one's playing them.
Yeah,
or hardly anyone plays them. It's great exposure. If someone said, "I'll take it down," I would take it down. But I think, for the most part, I think bands are pretty happy that their stuff's getting shared.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's all about the promotion. And, my wife's the one that came up with the idea about the record stores. She's like, well, while you're promoting the music, why don't you, also promote the record stores? And I'm like, hey, absolutely. Perfect. So
yeah, definitely. And record stores are great places. It's just, they need help too. You got to go in there and,
especially now. Yeah. Right now, especially with everything going on with the COVID and the economy, we don't want to let the record stores go by the wayside.
I was in Newbury Comics yesterday. I took my youngest, to Harvard Square for the first time, and it was 11 o'clock on Saturday. It was just us in the store. Like,
really?
It was eerie. Like, nobody was there.
You had none of the place.
Yeah, so we bought a couple things, but I worry that they're not going to be able to make their rent, especially these smaller groups. I mean, there's a lot of small record stores still around too, and they are definitely hurting.
Yeah,
especially with their internet presence.
Hopefully, people will come out for Record Store Day, which I think is coming up later this month, at the end of the month. So I think there's one on August 26th or the 8th or something like that. So
yeah, I'm hoping that I'm hoping that people are able to, but it's a crazy time.
It really is, but music will get us through it, right? We got to keep.
That's right. Let's end it on a maudlin note. Come on, we didn't.
Yeah, we got to keep the positivity going.
Yeah.
So, well, hey, best of luck to Putting on the Wrist to get 20 more, get to 50 here pretty soon.
We'll do it.
It's awesome.
We'll be here.
I enjoy every time I listen. It's a completely unique experience, and you just don't find shows like that out there anymore.
Thanks. That's how I feel about Bend and Scoop too. I'm always excited. And a couple times, like, I don't have time. And then I get like the double dose, and it's like it's good stuff. I like it.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
I always try to listen, but sometimes the week kicks your ass, you don't have time for the podcast. But
well, the good thing
catch
about
up.
it is there's no expiration date.
There isn't. This is nice.
It keeps from week to week. You can backlog and catch up or re-listen anytime you want.
My words will be there forever.
Yes, they will. Yes, they will.
Well, thanks for having me on. This was fun.
You can find Bend and Scoop online at our website, bendandscoop.com, or a variety of podcast platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Buzzsprout, TuneIn, Podchaser, Deezer, Podcast Addict, and Listen Notes. You also can follow us on social media at Bend Scoop for both Twitter and Instagram, at Bend and Scoop on Facebook, and you can email us at bendandscooppodcast@gmail.com. If you're looking for another podcast to listen to, I'm part of one called How Many, which features myself and several other friends, including Jesse, Junior, Scott, sometimes Gary, and a few other special guest co-hosts, where we rate and debate all manner of pop culture, music, movies, TV, you name it. Find us on Twitter at How Many Podcast.
Bye-bye, lard ass.